4 tills of tillage. So how long could you hold a conversation about with friends? Better yet, could you describe how the different methods of tillage work, or even how many there are? In Ireland, we tend to use 4 crop establishment systems, or because we wanted a clever title, what we call the 4 tills of tillage. A recent report commissioned by Tillage Industry Ireland revealed that the tillage sector contributes €1.3 billion to Irish economic output, which in turn comprises nearly 10,000 tillage farms. That's pretty impressive. But let's start at the very beginning before we go any further and get really basic. What is tillage? Well, it's defined as the mechanical manipulation of the soil for the purpose of crop production. A more basic description is that tillage loosens the soil and mixes in fertilizer or plant material, resulting in your crop. And we've been doing it for years. Ancient Egyptians, Incas and others began farming by dropping seeds into holes they had made in the soil with sharp sticks. It has evolved rapidly over 100 years, and now we have some huge instruments that we can substitute for a stick. Now, from an Irish context, we see all sorts of tools to cultivate land, from the biggest tractors and expensive machinery to farmers embracing the newest of digital technologies to maximise performance. This explainer will look at the most common tillage systems applied by Irish farmers. Here are the 4 tills of tillage. Plough. The most common establishment system practiced by farmers in Ireland is still based around the plough. This is a conventional soil inversion method that usually takes place at a depth of 6 to 12 inches before planting new crops. This practice works surface crop residues, animal manure and weeds deep into the field, blending it into the soil. This provides Irish farmers with an advantage of establishing crops in less than favourable conditions, considering our Irish climate is unpredictable. This principle of ploughing has virtually remained unchanged for thousands of years, turning up fresh soil for sowing seeds into, burying residue from the previous crop, and helping with weed control by burying weeds. Ploughing is coming under pressure in recent times because of carbon release, so other non-inversion tillage methods are becoming more popular on Irish farms. The term non-inversion tillage is used to describe all other systems that do not invert or plough the soil, including minimum tillage, strip tillage and direct drill. Minimum tillage. Starting with minimum tillage, or min-till as it's more commonly known, this implies that soil cultivation requires a reduction in ploughing depth and intensity. This type of tillage disturbs 2 to 4 inches with a disc or tine cultivator when compared with the traditional method. This method will usually require 2 runs. This method is expected to help the farmer reduce energy consumption, reduce labour, establishment time and machinery costs, help to conserve moisture and retain plant cover to minimise soil erosion compared to conventional plough-based systems. Strip till. Strip tillage is a method of crop establishment that sows and carries out limited cultivation in strips. A lead tine working at 4 to 8 inch depth cultivates strips of soil at a row spacing of 12 to 13 inches in advance of a sowing coulter. Strip tillage typically cultivates about 1/3 of the field area. Seeds are sown in these strips of disturbed soil and the area between the strips is left untouched. No-till. No-till farming, also known as zero tillage or direct drilling, is an agricultural technique for growing crops or pasture without disturbing the soil through tillage. No-till farming systems require permanent soil cover to remain on the soil surface in order to prevent soil erosion and conserve moisture. There are 3 basic methods of no-till farming. Sod seeding is when crops are sown with seeding machinery into a sod produced by applying herbicides on a cover crop. Direct seeding is when crops are sown through the residue of previous crops. Surface seeding is when crops are left on the surface of the soil. On some Irish farms, this requires no machinery and minimal labour, but other large-scale farms will use these approaches with conventional machinery. Irish tillage farmers are a resilient bunch and have evolved their enterprises and approaches accordingly over the years. It's an industry full of unexpected challenges and changing variables. Most importantly, however, you need the weather.